it's been a little bit since this happened, but somewhat recently, Robert Brooks, one of the senior narrative leads over at Bungie for Destiny 2, gave us a little bit of a tease of what's happening after the final shape. And we're going to be seeing the Vex. Supposedly, things may change. Maybe that's a red herring. We don't really know, but I think it's likely. Apparently, Robert Brooks was basically responsible for Asher Mir appearing in Season of the Spycer, which I think the Vex could be the best thing moving forward. Of course, new enemy factions would be cool, but I think of the enemies we have now, I think the Vex are probably the best fit. And there's other ways our current other enemy factions continue being our enemies, but I feel like Vex are the main big threat that we are dealing with currently after Light and Dark Saga is over. Because, as Robert Brooks stated, if you are a time-traveling robot force that can't understand magic, aren't you just going to wait for these two magical forces to, fight it out and then, come in at the end and just, finish off the last one and just, do your thing? And it makes complete sense. Now, here's some Vex lore as to why it'll be interesting to have the Vex as the main villain. And main thing is they have a lot of freedom with dealing with Vex things. Now, you may say, well, the Vex have no real villains. They're just mindless robots. It's just a hive mind. It's kind of like you're not going to have this evil maniacal villain or the sympathetic villain or anything. It's just robots. And here's the thing. Well, yes, that's true. Currently, we're not dealing with very powerful Vex in the Sol system. Basically, the Vex send out the ones that we fight normally to planets to not really terraform them, but convert them to resource generators for the Vex. So basically, we're fighting construction workers. That's all we're doing. We haven't gone to the Vex homeworld or anything like that. So we haven't seen extremely powerful Vex. One of the Soul Divisive saw the darkness, saw the witness, all this stuff, and they broke down and they couldn't understand it, they couldn't comprehend it, so they went to worship it. That's not really just mindless robot behavior, and we have different factions of the Vex. That's what the Soul Divisive proves. So maybe we have Vex offshoot into different things, so we learn that it's not just one big hive mind, it's multiple different hive minds, and they do different things. There's a lot you could do. We probably won't get a new enemy race for a minute, but we could diversify the Vex and make new units for them and new factions that are just as interesting as fully fleshed new races while touching back to what we already know. Like the addition of Wyverns completely changed how you engage with the Vex. While I don't really enjoy fighting Wyverns, I think it's cool that they added them and it changed the dynamic of how you fight Vex. And being that we won't just be fighting construction workers, we'll have, the people that command them, the Vex minds behind them, and the Vex minds behind those Vex minds, and so far and so forth. We had Panoptes in Curse of Osiris, who was tasked with simulating possible futures until they found one where the Vex won. And to set that in motion, you had the Consecrated Mind and the boss from Garden of Salvation, Soul Inherent, the Sanctified Mind. You had the two bosses from Garden of Salvation who follow the Witness. You have Spycer the Watcher. Those two bosses follow the Witness. What happens to Soul Divisive after Light and Dark Saga? We get to go to the Vex Network more. That's a cool setting. The Vex are a very cool enemy faction, and I think Bungie can look at the problems they do have and what makes them weaker narratively and expand upon those things and fix them. I don't think we necessarily need an Aramis or a Savathun every expansion, because sometimes you just need a maniacally evil villain. You don't need them to be justified in their actions all the time. But I think we could, flesh out some more Vex villains. I think that is a possibility we see in the future, being that we're going to, potentially go out of our solar system, or they're going to come to us. And there's a lot of cool directions they could go, and I hope they do. Personally, I'm excited for a Vex thing for a little bit. I just hope it's not 10 years of Vex, but a bit of a shorter saga where we deal with the Vex and get them out of here, I think could be really fun and different. They just have to be careful treading on it, because if we're focusing on one faction instead of where Light and Dark, we had the Taken, the Hive, the Scorn, but we also had these bits of Fallen and Cabal and Vex in there. That was cool and interesting. I'm just scared that they're going to go all in on Vex. It could be fine, but it's a little bit harder to do. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm hopeful, but there's a lot of things Bungie has to do right to pull it off. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If you agree or whatever, and just, no matter what, just like, comment, and subscribe, right? Yeah, thanks. See you next time.